Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about probably one of the biggest questions I hear and one of the biggest questions I had when I got into homeschooling. How do you choose a curriculum? Of the best things, one of the most wonderful things with homeschooling is that you have limitless options. One of the worst things about homeschooling is that you have limitless options. So it's so hard to know where to start, what's good, what's going to be the best curriculum out there. How do I choose? So this is something that I had a lot of struggle with when I was getting into it. If you're not around like-minded people who aren't homeschooling, it's kind of hard. It feels a little lonely, and it's hard to know where to start, especially if it's not something you've ever done before. It's a very daunting idea that you're going to teach your child everything they need to know to get them into college, and it's just a little overwhelming. But when you sit down and think about it, you're raising this child and you're raising an adult. This child you have now will be an adult one day, and you're trying your best to make them, a responsible, kind, caring, loving individual who will be a benefit to the world. And when you sit down and think about that, the grand scheme of just parenthood on its own, that can seem overwhelming too. But you know what? It's just day to day. And, we, as parents, we do our very best with our kids on day to day, and we're going to mess up, and that's okay. So homeschooling, it's a lot of the same philosophy. When you take the whole big picture, it just seems like it's too much to do, and that's too much for one person to be able to do. But when you condense it down to the day-to-day, it is doable. And you can do it. I'm here to tell you that today. You can. As far as where to get started, it took me a while to figure that out. I had a friend recommend a book to me. The one thing I was looking for when I got started looking into homeschool curriculum is, where do I start? I mean, there are literally hundreds, probably thousands of different curriculums, books, different styles of learning out there, and it's hard to narrow it down and know where to begin. So, what I love about this book is that it doesn't just give you curriculums. So she really helps you put together a philosophy for your homeschool. So basically, what do I want my child to learn? How are we going to conduct our homeschool? And then she helps you determine, okay, what was your learning style? Think about when you were growing up. Are you a visual, auditory? What kind of learner were you? Now, she has her own terms for it. So that really helps determine, this is going to be my ideal teaching style. This is how I best learned. So this is probably going to be the best way for me to teach. So once you are able to determine your learning style, she then moves on to helping determine what your child's learning style is. Now, this is going to be something that remains fluid. That's something she emphasized. Izzy was very much, I believe in the book, she calls it a perfect Paula. That very much fit her to the T. So, she has curriculum broken down based on, okay, is your child a perfect Paula? I think there's one that's like a Wiggly Willy. And she has curriculum that is earmarked and said this type of curriculum is good for this type of child if they learn this way. So it's really very beneficial, and I think the book is definitely worth getting because it really is a systematic, analytical approach, and it breaks it down for you bit by bit. And now that is my learning style, and so that's very helpful for me. Now, if you're not wanting to get the book, and if you would just like her recommendations on what curriculum that she recommends, you can go to kathyduffyreviews.com. And she has all of her top picks on there with a short review on there. Now, you definitely get more comprehensive reviews in the book. Now, one neat thing she has in her book is she has this charts. Speak to me. I love charts. This is just like candy for me. So she uses a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 meaning there is no correlation with this curriculum whatsoever, and 5 being the highest, representing the highest correlation to a different curriculum. Multisensory, hands-on, structure/rule-oriented, appeals to logic, analytical learners. Let's see, has social activity, needs parent-teacher instruction. There's all these different things she has broken down. So I went through and I put stars next to the ones that sounded like they would be a good pick for us. So she has it broken down by language arts, mathematics, sciences, things like that. And this is not just for kindergarten. This is for K through 12. So there's curriculums for all levels. So that really helped me narrow down a little bit more before I got into the full-out written reviews of the ones I'd like to look at first. And then I went through and I would highlight ones that sounded interesting to me, you know, tab the page, things like that. I've got a bunch of highlighting and page tabs going on. I got this book used, thriftbooks.com. It's a really good place to look for curriculum. It's hard to find certain things, but if you can get it there, you can get it for a really good deal usually. I got this book for like $4. It was not much. Now it is the older edition, but I was fine with that. It had some pencil marks and things like that. I don't care as long as I can get it cheap. I highly recommend this if you're kind of lost and don't know where to start. It gives you a focal point and it gives you an idea of where you can start. And if you buy something and you don't like it and your kids don't like it, you sell it back. It's okay. That's happened to us. I've already bought a couple things that we did not like at all. And that's going to happen. Don't beat yourself up. You can do hours of research and think you have the perfect curriculum, and then you're like, why'd I waste my money? So it's going to happen, and that's just part of it, unfortunately. But textbooks, things like that, they have really good resale value, so you will get your money back. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Now, there are many different styles of learning and many different educational philosophies and approaches to education. My one big recommendation is don't get overwhelmed by all of the teaching options that are available. Don't grind yourself into one philosophy because you think that is the best one. Stay fluid. You know, as you do it, I mean, as I've done it, my ideas have changed since I've started homeschooling. And they're probably going to continue to change, and my children are going to have different learning needs as we grow up. So, don't think if Charlotte Mason sounds like the best thing in the world, but your child does not learn well with it, that's the only way to do it. You know, you just stay flexible. The main philosophies that you hear talked about a lot are traditional, which is a lot like what you do in school. You know, you have a textbook and you have workbooks, things like that. Charlotte Mason emphasizes a lot of outdoor play, nature studies, nature walks, nature hikes. And she uses real books, not textbooks. So there's classical, unit study, unschooling, independent study, eclectic learning style, and an umbrella program, which is basically correspondence school that has a preset curriculum, but you do it at home. Another way to find out about curriculum, get on Facebook groups. There are a ton of Facebook homeschool groups. And when you're new, that's one of the best things you can find. So put yourself out there, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable. I have a lot of social anxiety, so it makes me uncomfortable sometimes putting myself out there. Whenever you have your picks narrowed down, say, you know, get people's opinions, which sometimes are not that helpful. Everyone's 50-50, and it's like, well, that didn't help me pick anything at all. But it is helpful to kind of narrow down your searches because people can give you the pros and cons if they have gone through that curriculum themselves and say, yes, we liked it, this is why. No, we did not like it, this is why. I know not every area is going to have a homeschool group that you can get connected with, but you can get connected online. Very, very helpful when you're trying to pick out curriculum if you're unsure of what to do or where to start. There are many, many helpful people out there who are more than willing to give you advice. There are seasoned veterans that have a lot of amazing ideas and tips and advice. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you an idea of where to start if you're just getting into your homeschool journey, or if you're well into it and you needed a new resource to find different kinds of curriculum. I hope it was helpful for you too. I post a couple videos a week, so subscribe and then you can be notified of when I posted a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.